It is a universal morning ritual practiced by millions of people all over the globe. You wake up feeling groggy, exhausted, and completely unready to face the day ahead. So you reach for that magical, steaming cup of freshly brewed morning coffee. Within minutes of taking that first warm sip, a wave of clarity washes over your mind. The mental fog vanishes completely, and you feel entirely invincible for a few hours. But then the clock slowly ticks closer to midday, and the environment changes completely. Suddenly, a crushing wave of profound exhaustion hits your central nervous system out of nowhere. Your eyes grow heavy, your focus shatters, and you feel far more tired than when you woke up. This brutal midday crash is not a random coincidence or a lack of personal willpower. It is the direct, unyielding mathematical result of a sophisticated chemical deception inside your brain. To understand this trap, we must examine how your body tracks fatigue naturally throughout the day. From the exact microsecond you wake up, your brain cells actively burn organic fuel for energy. As a byproduct of this continuous metabolic cellular work, a chemical byproduct builds up silently. This specific chemical byproduct molecule is known to neuroscientists as adenosine. Think of adenosine as your brain's internal biological sleep pressure valve system. The longer you stay awake, the more adenosine accumulates inside your cranial pathways. To read this chemical data, your brain utilizes specialized docking stations called adenosine receptors. When adenosine molecules float into these receptors, they lock together perfectly like a key in a lock. This connection sends a clear, rhythmic neural signal looping straight back to your conscious mind. The signal says one simple thing: it is time to slow down, rest, and sleep. This rising tide of sleep pressure is what naturally makes you feel tired at the end of a long day. But when you pour hot morning coffee into the mix, you initiate a stealthy chemical hijack. Caffeine is a master molecular impersonator with a highly specific structural layout design. At a molecular level, caffeine looks almost identical to your body's natural adenosine compound. Because of this structural match, caffeine streams straight into your brain and floods the active receptor ports. It slips directly into the adenosine receptors, completely blocking the real sleep molecules out. However, because caffeine is merely a chemical imposter, it cannot turn the tired signal switch on. It simply sits there like a broken key jammed inside a lock, preventing the real key from entering. With the sleep receptors effectively forced shut, your brain can no longer perceive how exhausted it truly is. The normal fatigue signals are completely masked, creating a false sensation of endless artificial stamina. This trick causes your adrenal glands to fire, releasing a secondary wave of stimulating hormones. Adrenaline and cortisol flood your system, causing your heart rate to jump and blood pressure to rise. You feel fantastic, hyper-focused, and ready to dominate your entire morning workflow calendar. But while you are busy conquering tasks, a dark, invisible crisis is developing behind the scenes. Remember, caffeine does not stop the actual production of adenosine sleep molecules at all. Your brain cells are still burning fuel and creating waste every single minute you are working. Because the normal receptor docking ports are blocked by caffeine, the new adenosine molecules have nowhere to go. They begin to pool together outside the gates, creating an immense, highly concentrated backup reservoir of fatigue. With every hour that passes, the size of this hidden, silent sleep pressure reservoir grows exponentially larger. You don't feel it yet because the caffeine shield is still holding the line securely. You are running on borrowed energy, completely unaware that you are biologically overdrawn at the metabolic bank. Then, the biological timeline inevitably hits the noon threshold boundary limit. Your liver finishes processing the morning caffeine dose, causing the molecular shields to break down and detach. As the caffeine molecules abandon the receptors, the floodgates are thrown wide open all at once. The massive backed-up reservoir of stored adenosine slams into the empty docking receptors simultaneously. Instead of a normal, gradual trickle of daytime fatigue, your brain experiences a catastrophic chemical flash flood. Every single fatigue receptor fires off panic signals at the exact same microsecond interval. This triggers an immediate, total metabolic collapse that leaves you feeling completely hollow and broken down. Reaching for a second cup of coffee at this point only restarts the dangerous cycle, digging a deeper chemical debt hole. To break the cycle, you must respect your internal pressure valves and let your brain clear its data naturally.